Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a problem that's kind of the silent killer of so many software projects, the messy, often frustrating process of turning a human idea into code a computer can actually run with.
It all kicks off with this idea of a hidden cost, a sort of translation tax that's just baked into the way we work. It's all those hours people spend manually translating business concepts into the super precise language that developers and testers need to actually build something.
And listen, this isn't some tiny fee we're talking about. This tax, this manual, tedious work of just figuring out and rewriting what needs to be built, can add a staggering 30% to a project's timeline. And that's before a developer even writes one line of code.
But the real cost? It's so much higher. This tax leads to features getting missed. It causes friction between teams. And maybe worst of all, it takes your most talented, expensive people and makes them do repetitive, mechanical work instead of, making critical decisions.
Okay, so how do we actually fix this? Let's get really practical here. We are going to follow the journey of one single, pretty flawed requirement to see how this whole thing can be turned around.
All right, meet our main character. This simple 28-word sentence from a project document. It looks harmless enough, right? But as we are about to find out, this seemingly innocent little requirement is basically a ticking time bomb.
So, let's put it to the test. How good is this thing really? We're going to feed this exact text into ReqFlow, which is an AI platform built to solve this very problem.
Okay, so our little requirement is now entering what I'd call a 5-phase process. And this isn't just a quick check. It's a gauntlet, really. It's designed to systematically tear down all the ambiguity and then build something that a team can actually work on.
So think of it this way. These phases first deconstruct that vague paragraph, and then they build it back up, creating this clear, traceable chain of command, if you will, from the original text all the way to the final test cases. And boom, here is our first result. Our supposedly reasonable requirement gets an initial quality score of just 52 out of 100. Yeah, you see that right. It's officially rated as low quality.
Now, this is the really cool part. The AI doesn't just fail it. It tells you exactly why it's so low. It flags the specific weaknesses. Words like quickly and large data sets, they're totally meaningless without numbers. Convenient format, what does that even mean? CSV, PDF, and who are these users? Is it everyone or just the admins?
So to fix all this, the AI generates these super targeted questions. Once a human expert provides the answers, like, okay, 10,000 orders, under 30 seconds, CSV and Excel, the requirement is automatically rewritten. And just look at the transformation. It's gone from a vague wish to a precise, actionable instruction.
And the payoff? The quality score just skyrockets from a measly 52 all the way up to 88. Suddenly, it's clear, it's feasible, it's testable. This is a requirement a team can actually build without spending half the meeting arguing about what it means.
But get this, it doesn't even stop there. From that one high-quality requirement, ReqFlow automatically generates a user story with these incredibly precise, testable acceptance criteria. It's all laid out in a clear, step-by-step format that's ready to go right into a developer's workflow.
Okay, so that's the story of one single requirement getting a total makeover. Now, let's zoom out. Imagine applying this to an entire project. What really happens when you just eliminate that translation tax across the board?
Well, for a typical mid-sized project, let's say with around 120 requirements, the difference in effort is just mind-blowing. Look at this. Activities that would take a skilled analyst weeks of grinding away manually are now just a few hours of review. Look at generating user stories and test cases. We're turning what was months of painstaking work into just a couple of days.
And when you actually visualize it, the contrast just hits you. We're comparing over a month of a skilled person's time, about 35 working days, to just 3 days. This isn't just a small improvement. This is a fundamental, game-changing shift in how the work gets done.
So what's the bottom line? This all adds up to a staggering 88 to 92% reduction in the mechanical work of requirements engineering. Basically, 90% of all that tedious, repetitive effort, it just vanishes. But look, this is about way more than just being faster. It's about fundamentally changing the nature of the work itself and what it even means to be an expert on a software team.
And this is so important. The AI isn't here to replace people. It's here to elevate them. It takes over all the structural, mechanical grunt work, the classifying, the scoring, the endless rewriting. This frees up your human experts to focus on what they do best, using their judgment, solving complex problems, and making those final critical decisions.
And that, right there, is the ultimate win. You don't just get your work done faster, you get better requirements with more complete testing and a team that is finally freed from the mountain of paperwork to focus on the decisions that actually drive value.
So I'll just leave you with this final, crucial question. What becomes possible when you remove that 30% translation tax completely? When you wipe out 90% of the mechanical work? What could your team build if your most skilled people were finally free from the paperwork and actually empowered to innovate?